Hello everyone. So this is basically the opposite, not the opposite, contrary to the video that we saw earlier. The game that won't let you see all of it. What? What does that mean? You mean as an Easter egg, or do you need codes and like TCL commands to get in there? Like no clip. Let's see. By Jacob Giller. 3, 2, 1, go.
This is a review of sorts of the game Before Your Eyes. It does not contain any spoilers for the game, which is available on PC, costs $10, and is about an hour and a half long. It does contain digressions, detours, footnotes, asides, time jumps, parentheticals, segues, rambling. On some level, before I even started it, I knew Before Your Eyes would destroy me. It's the most a game has ever pulled me in through concept alone. Are you ready to hear that concept? It's a game where you live out a character's life and time moves forward when you blink. That's it.
Oh my god.
That's all it took.
Oh my
I
god.
was sold.
Okay, that's interesting as fuck.
I have long been fascinated by experimentation with controls. Do y'all remember the microwave hallway from Metal Gear Solid 4? It's okay if not, I'll attempt to explain it. Towards the end of Metal Gear Solid 4, there was some very important server room in the middle of a ship, and that server room was protected by a number of ridiculous things. 1, it was on a giant aircraft carrier. 2, surrounded by highly trained guards. Yada yada yada. But the most memorable part of the ship's defenses was the final countermeasure, a hallway filled with microwave weapons. And once you know it, you eventually have to make your way through. The way the game does this is sometimes a game asks you to push a button.
What? Oh my god, you asshole. You're doing the game. You're doing the game to me, to us. Oh no. Oh, how dare you. Oh my god. I was so fucking into that.
This is sometimes a game asks you to push a button a lot, really fast, typically within a quick time event or something. Stop that car, Spider-Man, press square as fast as you can. The fun of these are debatable, and they're also a real accessibility concern. Many games give you the option to turn them off now, but one reason developers use them is they're one of the only ways to make players perform any kind of physical effort.
Holy shit, Metal Gear Rising.
Reflexes or strategic thinking, but in most circumstances, the moment-to-moment of playing a game doesn't require much exertion. By making you hammer that square button, it's offering just a second of physicality, taxing your little fingy in an approximation of Spider-Man stopping that car.
Spider-Man was fun, but again, BG3-1
not even close.
It's was better, infinitely.
To tie the players a little closer to the event on the screen. You start walking down this microwave hallway. Your suit is exploding, you're sweating, it's a bad time. And at some point, you collapse and have to mash the triangle button to move forward. And it's not a momentary prompt either, not like stopping that car. No, you have to keep pressing triangle. The animation suggests you press it as fast as you can for minutes. You have to keep mashing on that thing at the risk of immediately getting shoved in a locker after saying this. It gets tiring. As you inch closer to the end of the hallway, it does feel on some level like you're dragging yourself forward. It is a clever trick that dances on the edge of being annoying, aka the Kojima special, but hell, more than that.
He's being cooked alive. Least he could do is throw some iron in there. Maybe they'd explode.
Later, oh my god, it's been a decade, I still remember the microwave hallway as being one of the more interesting ways of meshing the player's physical experience with that of the character on screen. Anyway, Before Your Eyes is a game where time moves forward when you blink. Let's start with some of the technical stuff, because this does work differently than virtually any game I've ever played, and it does require a little setup. Before it starts, it gives you a little window of your webcam, tells you where to put...
Yo! No! What? When I blink? That's absurd. That's absurd. I thought you pressed space or something. It fucking looks for your eyes. It's like Phasmophobia, but for your eyes. If you talk in Phasmophobia, the shit can pick you up, man. It's like, oh god. This is actually interesting.
And asks if you're wearing glasses, and then you simply blink, and it can tell. This is my actual setup of the game. You can see the little circle filling in whenever I blink. It is remarkable how well it works. This isn't actually brand new tech. There's accessibility technology that's been working with blinks for years, but for my naive ass, this felt like an entire new world opening up. It was, for me, not janky, not continuously recalibrating. It just worked. Also, for those of you understandably nervous about letting a game film you the entire time, it does promise that it's not saving or using this video stream for anything other than just getting the input from your blinks. You can play it off.
Are you sure about that? Who made this game? Because this is actually fascinating. I didn't know blink tech was there. I didn't know blink tech was a thing. Now, meanwhile, VTubers blink left and right, but again, I didn't know that. I thought it's a timer thing, but now maybe they can. Oh my fucking god! Everything changes so many things. This game is.
Without a webcam and with.
I might play this. This is so weird.
But I'd encourage you not to do that last one unless necessary, because the blinks are really the raison d'etre here. They're what makes Before Your Eyes feel unlike any game I've ever played. Here's an example of a scene, no spoilers, just a thing from early in the game. You're in history class. You're watching the teacher give a fairly uninteresting presentation when the girl sitting next to you, who also happens to be your next door neighbor, asks you for help. You show her your notes, and she answers, and the teacher says,
"Indeed it is, though I prefer you to answer without the help of your..."
And then you blink. I didn't mean to blink there. In fact, I really didn't want to. The teacher just called me her boyfriend. God. I wanted to see how she'd react. Well, the teacher...
Bro, what you need to do is get super high. Then you don't give a shit if you don't blink. And you just grab every fucking scene perfectly.
Sounded like he was going to call me her boyfriend.
Bro.
Maybe he was going to say best friend. Maybe he's going to say, I don't know, bosom buddy. I don't know what he said. And then we've just smashed into the next scene so quickly that I don't even have time to think about the last one, because if I do, I'll miss this one as well.
Yeah, don't blink.
The larger framing device of Before Your Eyes is you're telling someone about the past events of your life.
That's it, bro. Is that the kid? That's the kid in Little Nightmares? Is that what's inside? Maybe it's not a girl at all. It's a fucking dog. What is that? That is like a werewolf.
For the moment, that history class might have felt internal.
A retired werewolf.
Those minutes after the teacher said boyfriend or best friend or bosom buddy might not have been fun. Depending on her reaction, they might have been excruciating. But you're not actually in that moment. You're years in the future, looking back. Because of the way memory works, some of the details of this scene are clear as day. You close your eyes and you can instantly see them, but everything else has just... Richard Linklater's movie Boyhood follows the life of a boy.
Bro, what?
You can instantly see them, but everything else has just... Richard Linklater's movie Boyhood follows the life of a boy and his family over 12 years of real time.
What is this? Midsummer? What's happening?
From 2001 to 2013, reuniting cast and crew every year to create a fictional story that takes over a real adolescence, kept current with the changing of the times.
What is this?
And while that feat is impressive, a movie filmed over 12 years, it's always kind of frustrated me that that movie filmed over...
Why is that girl wearing a bra on top of... What the fuck is going on in this movie?
It's always kind of frustrated me that that's where the conversation starts and stops about Boyhood. Because to me, as impressive as the years spent in production is the way the story and filmmaking are in conversation with the idea of time itself.
Oh god, that dude... Wait a second, what the fuck is going on?
The years spent in production is the way the story and filmmaking starts and stops about Boyhood. Because to me, as impressive as the years spent in production is the way the story and filmmaking are in conversation with the idea of time itself. One of my favorite things about the years passing in Boyhood is how little deal is made out of it. There are no
Okay, I
chapter
get what
titles
it
or
means now.
time cards, it just kind of melts into itself. Early on, I found it challenging to even tell when the time jumps were. 6-year-old Mason just becomes a 7-year-old Mason, and not much in his visible life has changed. The movie also deliberately avoids the typical big life events you might expect in this sort.
Oh god, what happened to your foot? Now here's the thing. I have not seen this movie, obviously. Or series. It seems like it deals with time, seems like, because we're jumping back, forth, as his video is. This is a piece. As his essays are just art pieces, like this weird, bizarre. Oh my god, bro. But I understand what he means. Because I'm actually listening to him now. Instead of trying to figure it out.
Typical big life events you might expect in this sort of thing. We don't see Mason's high school graduation. We see the car ride home. We don't see a dramatic first kiss, just a kiss. Because of its commitment to showing the minutia of life, when something exciting happens, like a home run at a baseball game, it feels spontaneously thrilling. It feels, as was often the case, that the movie just happened to be filming at the right time.
Okay, that's actually fucking
a
insane.
Particularly striking experience because I am, give or take a year, basically the same age as the kid in the film. Watching him and his friends ripstick down the street while listening to Soulja Boy, or go to a midnight book release, or start college around the same time smartphones became ubiquitous, it is an affecting thing to more or less watch yourself grow up.
I would say...
A beautiful metaphor of before...
Maybe for some of these kids, yeah. Not all of us who want to see ourselves grow up again. Or at least visualize it for anyone else. Because yeah, and I would not see myself in any of these kids at all.
Your eyes' central gameplay conceit is its inevitability.
No.
There are no scenes in that game that progressed without me. In every
God,
one, I
blink.
played a part in it. I moved it forward. I blinked and set the hourglass spinning. And yet, I didn't have any choice. There's a long-running British documentary series
Can you not
called
blink?
Up, as in 7 Up, 14 Up, 21 Up, etc. It is in some ways Boyhood on steroids. Boyhood filmed over 12 years, from 2001 to 2013. The Up series, at this point, has filmed for almost 60. Starting in 1964 with 7 Up, the series chose 14 kids, each 7 years old, to interview. Kids from different places in England, different social classes, some individually, some in groups. They did their best, for 1960 at least, to pick a diverse lot. Some were already planning to go to very expensive schools, some would take whatever they could get. But the one uniting factor amongst all of them, the true main character of the series, is the same as Boyhood: time. The Up series, a documentary instead of a fictional story, is significantly more explicit about the role of time. The change in tech and style is radical, from black and white to HD within the same series. It's also not shy about playing into this dissonance. Frequently, entries in the series end with a flashback to a party the kids had when they were 7, with What Would I Do by the Monotones playing, a scene that feels more distant with every point of comparison. There's also the hilariously ominous ending note they've held on to for more than half a century.
This has been a glimpse of
What the fuck?
Future.
But obviously, any technical change pales in comparison to
What the fuck was that for this kind of show?
the subjects of the documentaries, the 14 kids
He's
turned
right,
adolescents
ominous.
turned adults. The greatest special effect I've ever seen is playing an interview from one of the previous entries in the series, and then just revealing how that same person looks 7 or 21 or 49 years later.
Oh my god. That's fucking insane. Middle one took a year of, like, Jesus Christ, took a hit somewhere. Oh my god. Lady, I respect you.
It never gets old. especially when watching them in a
Maybe that was
relatively
just a
short
bad
time span
pause.
like I
Holy
did.
shit.
It feels like a magic trick. I blink and they're married. I blink and their kids have moved out. The participants struggle with this as well. The 7 years between 7 and 14 might as well be a century in terms of growth. A lifetime is spent between 14 and 21. And yet, since the program only comes on that set schedule, these are the snapshots that are preserved of themselves, and all we have to judge them on. The interviewers force them to be self-aware, interrogating them about the ways they've changed or haven't. Are you still religious? Do you think this upbringing was good for you? Are you happy you got married when you did? And you can feel them struggle in their responses. Should I have...
Jesus Christ, man. That image alone. Look at that that little 2 seconds. 2 seconds. How many years was that?
Good for you. Are you happy you got married when you did? And you can feel them struggle in their...
Oh my god. Ghost of Future Past? Holy shit. What the fuck? That is absurd.
Responses. Should I have changed? Should I stay consistent?
Shit. I'm getting chills, man. This is so weird. Such an interesting way of not spoiling the game and making me want to play it so much now. And he's actually doing the game's UI somehow, right?
One of the many genius segments in Before Your Eyes asks you, after living out a childhood and adolescence, to summarize your life in big, video gamey, binary choices. Were you a happy kid or a lonely one? Was your mom encouraging or demanding? And because you've just lived it, you know these are false binaries. You know, even through your haze of memories cut off at crucial moments, that you can't sum up your life like that, can't decide between a 1 and a 0, and yet this is how these stories work. The even more agonizing thought, though, is that by making a declaration like this, that might become the way you remember it. Memory is imperfect. Things slip away or are forgotten.
This should be in VR.
Replace them.
As well,
There's no
you know,
way that the documentarians
with
of
actual
7 Up managed to truly capture every piece of these kids, but 60 years removed from the filming, these portraits may be clearer than anything the subjects remember themselves. I interrogate myself about this constantly. Do you actually have childhood memories of going to Disneyland? Or did you just watch the video your dad filmed over and over until you were pretty sure you remembered? Memories' images, once they are fixed in words, are erased, after all.
Fuck.
The mirror image to Boyhood is the Before
Oh my
trilogy,
god.
another series of films made over...
Bro, he's going to throw me into a midlife crisis. Jesus Christ. Like, literally, are we just blinking a time away? Give me a second to get some more water, man. Oh, let's continue. 3, 2, 1, go.
Hands of Time, and also directed by Richard Linklater, where Boyhood is a sequence of not particularly bombastic moments that over years sculpt the image of a person before sunrise, sunset, and midnight are each a single day that go on to utterly define the characters. Beginning with the almost unbearably romantic notion of two strangers deciding to get off a train and wander a city together, each subsequent film takes place and was filmed 10 years after the last one. So in the first movie, they're barely into their 20s and moonstruck, the second, 30s and career-focused, the third, 40s and reflective. They are first and foremost unbelievably good movies. The filmmaking is daring, the acting is superb, but where they transcend the sum of their parts is in the presence of time, the distance between each entry. Because unlike the Up documentaries or Boyhood, each time these two reunite, it's clear that they too have been thinking about the events of the previous film for the last 10 years. Those are the long memories that overtake all of the tiny ones. They're not just the defining moments for us, the audience. Those days are the defining moments for Jesse and Celine, the characters. Our experience and theirs are almost perfectly.
Oh
in
my
parallel.
god. Oh my god. No. He's doing it.
One of the longest single scenes in Before Your Eyes is one in which little happens plot-wise. But because you can keep drawing it out,
shit.
because it's one of the few moments you can really luxuriate in, it becomes a pillar of who you are.
Can you
in the
make
game.
more?
A memory that's prominence only makes more
Make
sense
it
as you
star.
progress.
Huh.
Just before studying abroad while in college,
Tada.
I started taking 1 second of video every day. I thought it'd be a fun way to remember the trip. Then the trip ended, and I just kept doing it. That was over 5 years ago. The video, now over 30 minutes of seconds long, is a weird object for me. It is chronically imperfect. I often forget or put off the second until late in the evening, leading to many shots of my dinner or brushing my teeth. The visual quality did not start very high, the sound keeps getting off track, and yet I find it immensely affecting.
Okay, that is perfection.
Thousands of blink and you'll miss it memories,
Oh my
past
God.
relationships and pets, and the foundations of friendships and the deaths of family members, and I have each for 1 second. My friend and I used to talk constantly about this idea of perceived lifetime. The idea, in short, that time passing represents smaller and smaller fractions of our entire lifetime, and so it feels like it's passing faster. When you're 4, 1 year is fully 25% of the entire length of your life so far. When you're 25, 1 year is 4% of that same life. This only increases with years passing in the blink of an eye. That perception works in other ways too, though. When I watch back my combined clips, it always floors me that the idyllic vacation to the mountains, the one I feel like I can remember every moment of, takes only 3 seconds to play out. It's half as much space as any given work week, from which I can't recall a single thing.
And it's gonna happen.
There are a few moments in Before
Oh
Your
my
Eyes.
god, and it's gonna happen. Oh my fucking god. And it keeps happening. And it's not just stop. It's bro. When I paused it and I said, I'm gonna take a second. I took like a 2-hour thinking with myself, just thinking about the shit and the good, and trying to balance things out and trying to find a way to like enjoy life. But this is just so this bullshit about at least this is about our memories. This is about how the collection of our memories is just dissipating to nothingness. Like at least he got 1 second of that moment from God knows how long he's doing it. He's probably doing it now. But like some of us are just so many of people before us. Even the memory of their families, everything dissipated and it's just absolute silence. This is so crazy. Holy shit. Oh, God. 3, 2, 1, go.
When the game asks you to close your eyes and keep them shut, it will not progress if you have them open. And in those moments, every piece of the artifice of video games and controllers and computers melts away, and it is just you and the characters and your memories. I have never felt anything close to the way these moments made me feel while playing a game. In 5 years, in 10 years, I don't know how much of this game I'll remember. Maybe it'll be canonized as one of the best of all time, with retrospectives coming out every anniversary. More likely, it'll be held close by a small but passionate number of people. Perhaps there will be another game controlled by Blinks that blows it out of the water, although I doubt it. I do think I'll remember sitting at my desk, with my eyes closed, almost totally engulfed by the game, glad to be alone and able to purely feel. I want to hold on to that.
What? Oh my god.
I wanna be somebody.
Bro, this video is such a fucking amazing masterpiece. Like, holy shit, he didn't spoil a single thing about the game, and it explained everything about the concept and the premise of what is the base mechanics of this. It's just, oh my god. That was so much chocolate.
This video was sponsored by Skillshare. Which means it's time for another art assignment. I recently really enjoyed watching Rosalie Hazlett's series on painting landscapes. She is very cool and has made art for the National Park Service and all sorts of stuff. This series is both about learning watercolor painting for your incredibly chic little notebook of art, but also about the idea that spending time thinking about your surroundings, the way you do when creating art, is valuable in itself. There are many thousands of classes on Skillshare on basically
paints
anything you could imagine,
oil.
But exploring the site, I found the kind like Hazlett's to be my favorite. Hyper-specific,
it wouldn't be,
practicing
I mean, he
creative-
basically does this, but first draws it with a pen. Wait, she's doing, what is she? Wait, is she doing, what is that? That watercoloring?
Feels timeless feeling. And as you might have guessed, the first 1,000 people to use the link in the description will get a free trial to Skillshare's premium membership. Enough time to watch the whole landscape lesson and, I don't know, jump into her next one on painting textures. I would say it's...
Bro, textures freak the fuck out of me. When you look at the texture, it looks like a fucking skinned human. Like, oh my god, sometimes, like, all their textures, bro... they freak the shit out of me sometimes because there is no eyes. Eyes have a different texture and mesh because they're moving inside your fucking skull. Then there are just textures that are like eye holes and they're just a human, fillet human. It's scary. Maybe after some more work with textures, I get out of it, but Blender and Mesh, it's so much easier to work with Mesh than textures. That shit is terrifying sometimes. Especially if it's like a human or like an alien, I don't want to see any of those flayed.
Hard to put a price on this kind of thing.
Oh my god.
Skillshare would disagree and tell you it's less than $10 a month with their annual plan. Whatever. I'm not arguing. Mostly, I just want to see the things y'all make. See where your memory lives. Get that free trial, get making some art, and then show me. So I can tell you did a good job. Because you did.
Why would anyone want to do that? If someone wants to do that, do it because you want to learn about art and enjoy art. Don't share your work. Maybe get trolled. You don't get trolled on a Skillshare, but use a Skillshare. If that coupon probably still active and works, and he probably works for them and is sponsored by them. Maybe he's not to this day, but again, I'll just let the sponsors and this is the video because they get paid by those. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. For now, have a nice day and goodbye. Yeah, I'm gonna go and take a shower and have a midlife crisis in there. But, oh my god, I have a good cake. I'm gonna bake. 3, 2, 1, go.